It's been a day of chaos across the country in many parts, indeed, as many people queued for the district level elections. The district level elections that historically hasn't been one that people really want to participate in with apathy the other day. And so today, when many showed up and expecting to cast a ballot, they were told, particularly in areas like the Eastern and Ashanti regions, that they cannot vote after all. Those areas have now been postponed to Thursday, and so they didn't cast a ballot today. That's the statement that was issued by the Electoral Commission today, postponing the elections in Ashanti and Eastern region, particularly in some electoral areas there, so not entire region. So some electoral areas there had been postponed to Thursday, 21st December. Now, the EC apologized for this, but didn't quite explain why. They only said technical challenges. We've been making a few calls today to try and understand what really happened. A few things that we've learned today is that there were shortage of ballot papers. That really was a big challenge for the Electoral Commission, and it was primarily because the printing houses, some of the printing houses contracted by the Electoral Commission to print the ballot papers, failed to print the papers on time, and so that then affected the entire distribution system for the Electoral Commission. And so this was a big deal indeed for the Electoral Commission to call off elections on the day of the elections because they didn't have ballot papers. It tells you the gravity of what they were dealing with. And we also saw that we have late scheduling of elections, leaving many people stranded. That was a major problem today. Many people were left stranded today because they turned up to vote, they were in the queue, and were told because the papers were not coming, we're sorry, you can vote today, go home, return on Thursday. That's a big concern. Already, as I said at the beginning, this is an election that typically people are not interested in already. And so how do you get them back on Thursday to vote? We'll speak to our ex-panelists where they join us. And there's significant delays across the country as a result of this problem that we've seen in these areas. Now, the thing to note, though, although the Electoral Commission has postponed elections in electoral areas in Ashanti and the Eastern region, we've had widespread reports in the Central region also, but also in the Northern region. In fact, in parts of the Northern region, as our correspondent joined us with details of, there's many polling stations she visited, the number of ballot papers that were distributed and left at the polling stations were far short compared to those registered there, right? And so that clearly has been an issue. In the Central region, for example, again, people showed up, they couldn't vote, there was agitation. Some of the aspirants complained to us that indeed they had spent quite a bit campaigning, getting people there to vote. I want to take it.
A podiatrist will tell you about your feet, a physical therapist will analyze your gait, a psychologist will help you manage your anxiety. But what if your walk affects your hip alignment and the loss of movement affects your mental health? The body is connected in unseen ways. That's why our doctors work together to care for all that is you. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org.
Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of the Mid-Atlantic States Incorporated, 2101 East Jefferson Street, Rockville, Maryland, 20852.
Hurry into the wrap-up-the-year sales event at your local Ram dealer for great deals on the trucks that give you all the power you need and all the luxury you could ask for. Now get 10% below MSRP for an average of $6,219 under MSRP on the purchase of a 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Not compatible with lease offers or with any other consumer incentive offers. $6,219 average based on 10% below average MSRP from all 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab models in dealer stock. Residency restrictions apply. Take retail delivery from dealer stock by 1/2/24.
The Ashanti region, because there's something very some of the aspirants actually besieged the Electoral Commission headquarters in the Ashanti region to ask the Electoral Commission to explain to them what was happening, because as you noticed in the statement they issued, it was just said technical challenges. Watch this on the Ashanti region, where some of the aspirants confessed they had spent money, barred people, facilitated their movement, cooked for them, but of course all that is going to go waste now.
Is that woman on your competent? It's blame I only say the bono. Now a buying in free or because on your competent. So your problem on pa. I didn't tell baby to aba baby to aba. That means momo interest wo ye di enim. One. Ye no no aduane. Say o say obi obeto aba like nsu obenom ya to nsu ya to ya no aduane. Enko fa car free no ye de car ko isi baby e de o ma ba ama nyina ye ka. Why is Obeka say yeah the end to aba? I didn't know once I can't say before the election. I didn't up to now. Say Yama EC officer, Kayama EC officer. I can't say BBC Koso.
It is step Ben I'm take it next because easier the when you release the letter watch after here. What are you doing next?
The next steps and he said, you better fire one. So omu interest what they are and your munjai if you say omba beto mema ho omba beto mema say interest party omu interest tin omu yesagenya and your munjai because your mema ho the interest that.
Okay, so they are here to demand access from the EC boss, Mr. Banobio, as to why their election would not be held today, but rather on Thursday. He says that they woke up very early to make an announcement to people to come and vote. The voters came, but then unfortunately they were asked to return home because they are not going to vote today. They made financial support to them, transportation support, and then also prepared some meals, but unfortunately everything has to go waste today. So these are the people who have besieged the EC office here in the Ashanti region.
So that's a story there, just one center there. That actually is the EC headquarters in the Ashanti region there. And as you heard, that's one of the aspirants there, surrounded by his supporters who had besieged the EC headquarters. They're asking these fundamental questions. The challenge had really left the situation very difficult for many people who were in the queue to vote. They have to come up again on Thursday and attempting to vote. The key question to ask is, at which point did the Electoral Commission realize that the printing houses had failed? Because, as you know, the Electoral Commission just yesterday was very confident that this was going to happen, and they were very prepared for this. Something may have gone wrong, and we'll try and understand what that is and when we speak to our guests who will join us. As you know, the NDC has issued a statement tonight on this. They accuse the EC of messing up the district level elections. And they've also, talked about the challenge with the printing of the ballot papers today, and that they've also alleged this procurement breaches as a result of the procurement of the services of the printing houses. As you know, the Electoral Commission is very clear on this as to what the district level elections can achieve, and that they will remain secure without the use of the indelible ink. That's one of the key things that going into this election, the EC has announced, and so you're not going to get that ink on your finger when you vote, because the EC trusts in its systems because of the biometric verifications that you go through to vote, and that they believe that is a very strong system that can detect any attempt to vote twice. Now, dare people to try this. See if you can vote twice, whether the system won't flag you. And as we know tonight, the EC itself, tomorrow we'll get some further briefings from them, what really happened and what are remedial measures. Because, as you know, this may affect Thursday's turnout also. Now, there are some very interesting cases that came up also today. One of them is this very interesting story of the twin. One of them had gone to vote already, had been verified. The second one showed up, and the system was saying, you were voting twice. And they brought in another BVD machine. That too failed. That was a very fascinating case indeed, and how it was resolved was very interesting indeed. And this happened in the Ghana Central District. That possibly proved that the system works, right? I mean, once it picks you and locks you in as having voted, when you come back, it will again flag you. The numbers there, we know already, the districts, 268 of them across the country. The constituencies, we know of them, with one that about to add to that to 276 electoral areas. That's a huge number of electoral areas, 6,272 of them. Many of them, as we'll show you pretty shortly, have now been postponed in Ashanti and in the Eastern region too. You look at the polling stations, 38,000. So this is a logistical challenge, right? I mean, that tells you a story. 38,000 polling stations is a logistical challenge. But the EC is very adept at organizing the general elections, presidential and parliamentary, and they do it smoothly. They did that in 2020. It went smoothly. So why are they having challenges with this? Is it that the EC itself somehow doesn't give the same attention to the district level elections as it would the national elections, the general elections? I don't know. I'll ask the experts when we sit down for a conversation. And I'm also interested in the electoral area conversation and how that translates into contestants. For example, 18,000 people showed up today. Many of them disappointed, as you heard there, because they did not get to see if they will win or lose, because that has now been postponed to Thursday. And if you look at the unit committees, 47,000 there. But then if you look at the breakdown, and this is the part that for me raises the challenge with this, because if you go to the first three, and we're talking here about the regions with the most contestants, right? If you look at that, the district level elections, regions with the most contestants, you're talking about Ashanti, Western, Central, right? If you're doing the breakdown there, if you go to the Ashanti region, you have 3,700 contestants there. If you come to the Eastern region, you have 2,600. If you come to Central, 1,600. The first three with the most contestants are the areas where we have heard the situation with the challenge, with the ballot papers going in. So that clearly tells you that this obviously will become an issue, because going into Thursday, can you get all these people back and enthusiastic again? Can they go into people's homes, rally people to come and vote for them? Because that's where the galvanizing effect is, when the contestants themselves take up the challenge to drive the voter enthusiasm towards casting your ballot. But consider what has happened today. Will they still have the same energy that they've invested into this process coming into today to get them out to vote? That is a big question indeed. And again, if you look at the regional breakdown, right, again tells you a story, I mean, of what the EC will have to deal with coming into Thursday. What the Electoral Commission will have to deal with. This, of course, the regional breakdown. Let's look at the elections of the unit committees. What we saw before was the district, the assembly members there, who, of course, spread across the country. But the unit committee members, same story, really. Ashanti, Eastern, Greater Accra, Central, right? Greater Accra, we haven't had too much of the challenge because, of course, a lot of the printing happens here. But again, if you look at it, the three are still in the range here. So big concerns ahead of Thursday. My guests will have a conversation. What lessons do we learn from this for the next district level elections? But many say the challenges that we witnessed with this election, it is the strongest evidence yet, the strongest argument yet to back why we need to politicize this process and bring in the political parties, because that's where the interest will come in. And the EC will not dare, of course, supervise a process where ballot papers aren't ready, because they know the parties won't stand for that. Do my guests agree? After the break, we'll hear their thoughts.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Crazy pa. Don't somebody know me.
Whiskey.
Wash. All of a sudden, my voice I hear different. And when you saw a call. Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Chalet, honey near their fro. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman, bring my friend 1 Black Rock whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the hell for Sikanton Sata?
Black Rock whiskey can be the feeling smoothness, no.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Every day, people have money emergencies.
Ma, I need my school fees.
Emergency.
Mommy, chop
money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge, enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Afiaso! It's Christmas at the Evergreen Rattray Park with your super station, Love 99.5 FM. Where are my bubbly little kids? It's the Love FM Xmas Kids Party! It's party and fun time for all the kids as we enjoy and make merry this Christmas. So parents, come with all the kids and let's have fun! Which school is good in these activities? Dancing, singing, choreography, picnic, horse race, lime and spoon. Register your school or Sunday school by calling 0245-594425. Says yeah. Santa Claus alongside Mickey Mouse will be there with loads of gifts. Remember, there will be bouncy castles, electric train, chuku-chaka, trampoline, horse race, a stationary aeroplane, TV games, and many more to play with. Face painting today, the corner there somewhere. Come, let's have absolute fun this Christmas at the Love FM Xmas Kids Party. Rate is 10 Ghana cedis. Date, Saturday, 23rd of December 2023.
9 a.m. sharp.
Xmas Kids Party.
Bronya Baye
And PMSOS is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough. Alomo Bitters experience greatness in every moment. Ghana AIDS Commission. And I recommend Syntex Tanks greatly for you. This is the tank that you definitely have to get if you don't have one already in your home. It is the first to introduce the double inner layer tank in Ghana.
Hurry into the Wrap Up the Year sales event at your local Ram dealer for great deals on the trucks that give you all the power you need and all the luxury you could ask for. Now get 10% below MSRP for an average of $6,219 under MSRP on the purchase of a 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Not compatible with lease offers or with any other consumer incentive offers. $6,219 average based on 10% below average MSRP from all 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab models in dealer stock. Residency restrictions apply. Take retail delivery from dealer stock by 1/2/24.
At Strayer University, we've been empowering students to pursue their goals for over 130 years. From innovative degree programs and helpful tools to campus locations focused on creating community for international students, we can help you find your way forward. We even offer international students 25% off tuition on select degree programs. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. Eligibility rules, restrictions, and exclusions apply. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
A podiatrist will tell you about your feet, a physical therapist will analyze your gait, a psychologist will help you manage your anxiety. But what if your walk affects your hip alignment and the loss of movement affects your mental health? The body is connected in unseen ways. That's why our doctors work together to care for all that is you. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org.
Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of the Mid-Atlantic States Incorporated, 2101 East Jefferson Street, Rockville, Maryland, 20852.
And you can call them. They are nationwide. It is the first to introduce you white inner layer tanks, and they also introduce you to the customer specs order because it is bespoke. Call them, and they are across the country, really, because they also give you the longest warranty. You can find it anywhere. 0244 335 168. Shop online at syntexgh.com. Are you strong, are you tough? My guest joining me tonight for a conversation on a day when many people queued to vote in the district level elections is Dr. Eric Odrosai. He's a governance expert. Paul Abrampa-Mensah is a project lead at the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. He's a senior programs officer at the CDD. Also joining me is Kwesi Baini. He's a former DCE himself at the Hunter West. And I want to bring him in because of his experience at that level. Neelanti van der Poy is a former Minister for Local Government. He's also the ranking on the Local Government Committee in Parliament. And, of course, Parliament definitely interested in what is happening across the country today. Let me start with Dr. Sai. Doc, this is obviously a process that has always been challenged because of low turnout, voter apathy. First, give me your assessment of how the day had gone.
Let me say good evening to colleague panelists. I think the day has not gone bad at all. We expected that it could have gone better, except for the few areas and the challenges we had. We are yet to receive figures from the Electoral Commission on the actual turnout, but so far, so good. What happened in those three regions were rather unfortunate because we were expecting higher turnout, and this is an election that does not normally attract the numbers. When you go back to history, since 1988, we have not been able to score even 60%. The highest all-time score or turnout was in 88, 89. So we were expecting that with what happened this year, the way we all talked about it, the media, including Joy News, Joy TV, all the media got involved in sensitization. We are expecting a higher turnout. Unfortunately, these challenges came in. But that notwithstanding, I think that I like the enthusiasm because wherever you get to in town, people are in a hurry to go out there and vote. And I must say that for the first time, I've seen a lot of interest in the local government election. Whilst I have the platform, let me use this your medium to also congratulate the local government committee of Parliament. I will say it wherever I get to, because that committee is doing something wonderfully well in the Fourth Republic, which has never happened. They managed to hold the local government accountable. They managed to bring the chief executive and the leadership of the assemblies before them to review their audit report. And if we continue along those lines, we'll be able to tighten internal controls and inject transparency in the use of public funds. But I must say that coming back to the elections, because accountability is critical, it's gone on well, except for the skirmishes that we witnessed. But those are good lessons for us. Going into 2024, we should be able to resolve them so that it will not even happen in the parliamentary or presidential elections. You can imagine if this had happened in 2024, you can imagine.
Yeah, I mean the chaos that this will cause. Let me bring in Mr. Bramper. Mr. Bramper, so the EC was compelled to postpone voting in 2 regions. Beyond that, we've seen evidence in Central and also in the Northern region where we saw challenges with ballot papers being submitted. I mean, of course, the EC are told that the challenge was some of the printing houses failed to bring in the ballot papers as they expected. Now, from where you say that's Kodeo, I mean, just observing what happened today, this definitely is a concern, is it not? Because of the obvious challenges that this process was facing already.
Well, Ivan, good evening. I must say this has never happened in EC's normal elections, whether it's intra-party, whether it's district level elections or national elections, that what they have explained through statements and what's watching television, some of the affected contestants have narrated. For instance, one of the contestants in one of the electoral areas said after the balloting, the final the ballot papers that were printed changed the positions as I ring through the balloting. Others also said facial identification problems. This is new in the kind of challenges that the Electoral Commission face in elections. In fact, ballot paper printing has never been an issue in any of our elections. What we witnessed since the introduction of the BVDs have been failure of the machines, batteries not lasting long, and other things. So, as I always say, election is a process. As this has happened, what we do as stakeholders is to assess the performance of everybody, including our service providers who print the ballot materials. I believe they also do their own assessment. Was it wrong collation of the data that was given to them? Was it faulty machines? Was it the fact that they were not given the details in time, so they were rushing? So all these things will come to play, we'll assess it and improve upon it going forward. There's no elections that you don't encounter any form of glimpses. But when it comes, the ability for you to resolve the challenge is what makes you a manager.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Nilante van der Poy, I know you've kept an eye on this process. You yourself as a member of parliament, you're a member of the assembly. Have you learned anything about the real reason why we saw the challenge we saw today?
Hello, Ivan.
Hello, Mr. van der Poy.
You're speaking to Abraham Pamensa.
Mr. Van, if you can unmute for me. Of course, he's a member of parliament for Ododo. He's also...
Yes, Ivan.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, great.
Yes, Ivan.
Yes.
Let me say, I will not give any, excuses for the EC's lack of preparedness. The EC was inefficient and ineffective in these particular elections. You see, we must call a spade a spade. The EC has 2 years to prepare for these district level elections, because the district level elections happens in between the major national elections. After 2020 elections, the EC knew that they will have district level elections this year. This election should have happened as far back as August. It was pushed to September and to December. In all these instances and all these times, what has been the preparation of the EC towards the district level elections? Should we continue to have a EC who, after national elections, will go to sleep and then will wake from the slumber, come and conduct district level elections within 3 months, go to sleep again, and wake up 6 months into national elections in 2024, come and mess up again? I think we should be able to call the EC out and tell the EC that it is their duty and mandate to prepare sufficiently, adequately, and well for every election in this country. And as such, immediately after these district level elections, all the things that we have seen now, they should start preparing towards those things so that in 2024, in the major elections, we will not have these hiccups that we've witnessed in the district level elections. This has been the character of the EC as far as the district level elections is concerned. They've not shown the right attitude, mindset, and preparation towards the district level elections.
I mean, do you accept the explanation we got that it boils down to some of the printing houses failing to deliver on the contract on time?
Evans, that's what I'm saying. The EC knew its timetable. So EC should have selected the contractors, prepare itself, give them adequate time to print, deliver before the time of the elections. You don't give contracts maybe 3-4 days or a week to elections. How do you do even checks? How do you go through due diligence to make sure the printing has been good, no mistakes, and nothing has happened? You see, you must prepare. That's why they have a whole year to prepare for district level elections. And so they can't come today and tell us we had hiccups because our contractors could not deliver on time. It means the EC itself did not prepare enough to give their contractors enough and adequate, sufficient time to be able to print and execute the mandate that was given to them.
And Nee makes a point, and Lante Van der Point makes a point there, and I want to bring it back in, Mr. Abrampa, about this. I can't imagine this happening in the general elections. And I want to go back to the fundamental challenge with district level elections. Is this lack of interest? Is it likely that the Electoral Commission itself may have underestimated this, generally because the expectation is we're not going to have people participate, turnouts are going to be low, and maybe affected its preparation? Because the EC has been very efficient, has it not been, in conducting our general elections. So how else would they come to this challenge and not anticipate it the way we saw them talk about it quite vehemently yesterday, that they were ready? Almost as if they didn't anticipate that this challenge was going to hit them this morning.
Good evening to my friend Nee, Honorable Neil Antevanda. Let me say, I repeat what I said. There's no election that we don't have challenges, but the ability for us as a country to assess it. The question you're asking is about the interest, the stakeholders, and national interest in the district level elections in general. You remember when the EC laid an ally in Parliament, then we were discussing the going back and forth, change something, we are going to use national ID cards. I told you in that interview that if we were to be a general election year, Parliament will have taken a bold step to call the EC together in order for EC to do the right thing. But because we're dealing with district level elections, look at the lukewarm attitude from Parliament, from EC, from everybody. So that this interest in district level elections, the pathetic nature we attach to district level elections is glaring. We all know that. If we say we are going to analyze district level elections, the interest, stakeholders' interest, it needs a national conversation that we all have to sit down to analyze what it is that we need from local governance, what it is that we want to review, revamp, and address, so that we have a very successful local government authority. It's a different question, but coming to the elections, I did say that every election goes through a process. Yes, the EC might have done a mistake. We are also not aware when the EC's budget was released to the EC. We are not aware. So many things we don't know. So for now, let's say yes, challenges have come. We pray that we don't anticipate this challenge, not only in national elections, any other election, whether it's a by-election, intra-party contest. We don't anticipate, we don't want these things to be happening. So what it is that happened that we have these glimpses, and what can we do that we don't experience it in any elections in the country? That's what it is. When I was assessing the Liberia elections there, and they were talking about bad roads, the materials not being able to get to I told them every election has a problem. At all costs, the Liberia Elections Management Body were able to develop a plan B to distribute their materials, and the election came on. So definitely the election will come off. Yes, we anticipate some of the challenges, some of the contestants will face. I was listening to one of them. He said most of his brothers who were coming to support him as polling agents came from town to the electoral area. He's not sure whether they will be able to stay until the Thursday. Somebody also said he prepared his meals that he was going to serve his polling agents. There are so many problems that people will be encountering through this vote that has come about. Now, of course, we can't put everything in the basket and throw it away. What can we do to forestall some of these unforeseen challenges in any elections that comes up?
I mean, Dr. Drosai, so Thursday is another day for voting. Do you anticipate that today's challenge would affect people's enthusiasm to turn out and vote in the areas affected in the Ashanti region and in the Eastern region?
I want to believe that they would have learned their lessons. And I want to believe that on the first question you asked, whether or not the EC underestimated this examination, this election.
Exercise, yes.
I do not think. I will be surprised if they underestimated it, because you had the numbers and you knew those who have filed their nominations, etc. But I must also say that, you see, when it comes to local government elections, you have 5 unit committees, positions at post, and a number of people, and the assembly members as well. So we can understand that we have a lot of people. But that is not to say that you have to underestimate the election, because election is election, whether it is local or national. But I also think that on Thursday, I would expect that they have done their homework well. Maybe, as we are hearing, that some of the printers or printing houses disappointed them. Question then is, have they now supplied all the ballot papers? Are the ballot papers ready? Have we sent them to the various electoral areas? These are the things they need to put in place. And the lessons learned there requires that in future, they should just make sure that ballot papers get to their destination 3 clear days, not less than 3 days before the elections. Once this happens, then we are not going to witness what we are witnessing. And it is not enough for the thing to even get there. The quality assurance you put in place to ensure that you take delivery of the right ballot papers so that the ballot papers can also get there on time. I think they have to put all these things in order. But to answer your question directly, I want to believe that Thursday, they are ready, they are set.
But what about... Yeah, definitely I believe the EC will be ready for Thursday. And many will say this is an isolated incident, considering the stellar performance they put up over the years. But what about how it affects voters who will have to turn out again? Remember today, the complaint, some of them showed up today ready to vote. You've asked permission from your boss to go and vote today. You go there and they say, I'm sorry you can't vote, come on Thursday. If the aspirants are not as enthusiastic about the galvanizing, some of them told us they spend money to, cook food, and get transportation for them, and all that is going to waste today. That definitely will have an impact, right? Especially on an election that people don't, feel too much of an interest in.
I can understand. It will definitely have an impact, especially those who have traveled from very far places to come and vote, and assembly members who may have provided some TNT to get people there. And some people were even saying they cooked. So then do they have to cook again? All these things are hazards in elections. Question then is, how do we avoid them? We can only avoid them if we've learned hard lessons and then commit to not repeating these things. But definitely it will have an impact on Thursday's elections. The only thing is that we would expect the aspirants to continue to whip their people to come in to vote for them, except that we wish that this never happened. We wish that this never happened, because we are all rooting, campaigning, whipping enthusiasm, encouraging people to come out and vote. And once they get there and the ballot papers are not there, they get back to their base, and bringing them out again becomes difficult. So I think there are hard lessons we've all learned. I believe that the EC will put its house in order so that going forward, whatever bottleneck they had will not occur. My wish is that this never occurs, even in the parliamentary or presidential election, because then that would be more chaotic than what we are witnessing now.
I mean, Mr. Van der Poel, this throws up the bigger question. Every district level elections, we end up talking about how participation has been abysmal. Of course, this year is slightly different because of the challenge with the ballot papers, etc. So how do we fix that challenge? We don't have this challenge with the national elections, right? And this is the debate we've been having for a long, long time. Another one is here. We're having a conversation again. Please unmute for me.
Said, I wish you could drift towards an argument that some people have been having, some advocacy people have been having that I believe in. Evans, the truth of the matter is the fact that as a country, we have designed our governance system on decentralization. We've entrenched it in our constitution. In Article 35(6)(d) of the constitution, we said as much as possible, our governance system should be centered on decentralization and people's participation in decision-making at the lower level of our governance. So we know what we are looking for as a country. And because we are looking for this, we must give much importance and interest to local governance so that the pressure on central governance will be minimized. We can't continue.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everything centralized. We have fiscal policies, fiscal decisions centralized, and we say we have dissolved responsibilities to the local level. It will not happen. But let me also say this. In the 1994 district assembly elections, and let me tell you, we had a vibrant information services department which took over the publicity and the announcement of the elections. You understand? We had radio stations which participated fully. Let me ask you a simple question. Maybe for your own administrative radio, you will not tell me. How many advert placements did EC do at your end, at Joy?
Oh, yeah.
How many?
I wouldn't know, yes.
And the interest, we treat the EC itself conducts national elections. They don't do that with district level elections. So I think that we must begin to understand where we've come from, why we have chosen local governance and decentralization as our model of governance, and what sort of interest and attention should we give to local governance in order to enhance our governance and democratic system itself. So that me and you, we know that this year there's going to be a legislative level elections. Our attention and focus will be to the issues, to discuss the issues that will help us enhance the elections, that will help us vote for very qualified people to enact upon policies and take decisions at the local level that will enhance the overall national development. But today, we give much more attention to national elections, central governance, the neglect of local governance, and our decentralization scheme. So I believe that, one, the interest is up because people don't even have confidence in the assembly system as it's supposed to be. Because they go to assembly, services that they feel they can readily should be available to them, they don't get it. People think that the district level elections is for anybody, that MPship and other elections are for people who are respected and of a certain quality in the society. But if we begin to retune and understand that our real development in this country emanates from the local level, from the basic units, that is where all the problems are. And then we begin to look at the sort of personnel, professionals, expertise that we need to plant at the local level so that they can take good decisions for us. Then we can move up from there to the national level. We will begin to understand that we need to give attention to the elections that will provide for us the people who can sit, meet, and think properly about development of our nation from the local level up to the central level. So that it will not be like we have to wait 3 months to the
of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.